What's going on, everyone? Chris Roma here, aka Things by Roma. June garden update. It is June 2nd, so we will see where we're at. We'll start over here where we have some cabbages, some Brussels sprouts, some cauliflower, and some ground cherries. So both of these round beds both have the same things in them, just different varieties or different cultivars. So we have ground cherries here and here. One is in Aunt Mary's and one is in New Hanover. And then here we have some Brussels sprouts and some purple Sicily cauliflower. And then the same thing we over here, some Brussels sprouts, and this is a savory perfection cabbage. So over next we have our asparagus bed. This is the first year with our asparagus bed, so I just planted the crowns, which is why I'm letting them grow to ferns here, so we can get some energy down into the roots. We're not going to harvest this year. All we're going to do is maybe weed out some of the females once we start seeing some berries, but we are going to let this asparagus just grow up and fern out. So it starts out like that, and then it turns into that fern like how you would normally see asparagus look. And then in this bed we also have inoculated with some wine cap mushrooms, so we give it a little scratch. We'll see some white mycelium in there. All that white, that is mushroom, wine cap mushroom mycelium. So hopefully we'll get some mushrooms either this fall or next spring, but I'm really excited. I actually inoculated the whole pathways with it, and pretty much all the beds are inoculated with some kind of mushroom at this point, which is kind of cool. Can't wait to harvest it. So over here we have some of our potatoes just starting to pop up out of the dirt here. These are Yukon Gold, and we have some red potatoes. I'm not sure which kind of red. They were just seed red potatoes were the names of them when I bought them, so I'm not sure. And this is a combo of both. But rather than planting some dirt low and then piling the dirt and heaping as they grow, I decided I just put the potatoes almost right at the bottom of the bag and just heaped right from the beginning. It's a little bit lazier, but it's what I did last year and it seemed to work pretty well. And then over here we have some tomatoes growing up my deck here. I put some tomato string, some tomato line there. And then so we have this one's a yellow pear tomato, a black strawberry tomato, and this one is a big Zack tomato. Over here we have a Queen of the Night, big pink, sun gold, mushroom basket, another yellow pear tomato. So those are all going to hopefully just grow up the pool deck here, and once it's warm enough outside, I have some cucumbers that are still under the grow lights that I'm going to plant in between the tomatoes and space. The cucumbers are going to grow up as well. And then here we have some onions. So I just bought a couple onion sets. Not exactly what sure or what kind. Again, they were just called onion sets, so very just small onions. So hopefully they'll be good. In this bed we have some more cauliflower. Here's another tomato. That's a Roma tomato in there. We have some beans. This was 4 beans and only 1 plant came up, so I'm going to have to get out here and replant some more seeds. Habanada sweet pepper. These peppers got so big under the grow lights I had to bring them outside to plant, and it's been a very cold May, and even into June it's still cold, so the peppers aren't doing so hot at all. I might actually, well, some of them are, we'll get to it, but most of them are looks like their growth's a little stunted. I might have to start some new seeds. But the brassicas, like the cabbage, here's another savory perfection cabbage, doing super well here. I planted some rose pink sunflower seeds. I will thin those out to 1 once we have a bigger one that's surviving in there, and then I'm going to try to use it as a trellis for some squash, but we'll see how strong it is. It might even need its own trellis, let alone to be a trellis. We have some albino beets trying to make their way under this cabbage. Learned my lesson. 1 square foot of space is definitely not enough room for a savory perfection cabbage, because it is definitely shading this whole square foot next to it where these beets, we'll see if they grow, but yeah, they're getting not as much sun as they would like, I'm sure. And we still have some free square footage in here for some squash and cucumbers, and maybe some more eggplants when we pull out these brassicas. So the raspberries, we have some heritage red raspberries, and three other kinds of raspberries, four other kinds of raspberries now, because I just added the gold raspberry this year. Can't wait to try that. But love the raspberries. They're probably my favorite part of the garden, which they're actually escaping into this flower bed right here. So these are raspberries that have traversed underground and have popped up in this bed. So we have some carrots right here, but also the raspberries are making their way in with the carrots. But I love raspberries so much, I decided I would leave them. These tall things right here, that's some Music hardneck garlic. I actually planted that in the fall, so it was out here all winter, and then had some chill hours in, and it popped up, and now the garlic is nice as huge. Right here we have some more Brussels sprouts. Here's a cauliflower. Early Jersey Wakefield cabbage sitting there, and then some more garlic. Here we have some more sunflowers that I planted. This is some sweet banana peppers. Those are some more little sunflower seeds popping up. There's an eggplant. See, it's looking kind of yellow. They like the heat. They didn't like the few cold nights we've been getting, so they definitely have not been happy with that. And we do have some more beets up part of my shadow. We had some more beets popping up there, and some more beets popping up over here, and then a whole bunch of rainbow carrots in the corner here. Over here, purple Sicily cauliflower, some more eggplant, a whole bunch of strawberries, some peppers, another early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. This is supposed to be one of the earliest. I think it's 65 days till harvest once it sprouts, so approximately. So hopefully that'll probably be one of the first cabbages we'll be eating, and it'll hopefully be really good. And then here's another cauliflower and another Roma tomato, and then there's a big pink tomato there. The pole only goes that high. They're gonna get much bigger than that. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do when they get bigger. But yeah, these strawberries are starting to come in a little bit. We're getting some berry action there. And then we already have some peppers. So this is a gypsy sweet pepper. I can't wait to try that out. And then we have a Jimmy Nardello pepper right here starting to form. So I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, the Jimmy Nardellos, here's some more Jimmy Nardello. And then behind me in this bed, this one has tons of garlic. So this one has a lot of garlic in here. They have some peppers. This is a Listata de Gandia eggplant, purple beauty pepper, some more. This is Catskills Brussels sprouts. And then here's another early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. And then another Savory Perfection cabbage here. And then, yeah, lots of garlic, some more carrots thrown in where we can fit them. And then here we have another tomato. I think that's another big Zach tomato thrown there. So there's the new gold raspberries I was talking about. I just put them in this year. So maybe we'll get some fruit. Hopefully we will. We'll see. Well, I'm over here by the mulberry tree, under the mulberry tree. You can see there's tons of berries just all over this tree. So maybe we'll get to try some mulberries this year. That's super exciting. What is not exciting is a lot of my trees were killed by some type of animal. I'm not sure, but I had plastic protectors on them, and basically where the plastic ended, they ate around the whole tree, and it ended up, this one, it killed the whole tree. A lot of the other ones it just killed from here up. But yeah, this was a Santa Rosa plum tree that is no longer alive, has nothing, not coming back to life. So I'm gonna have to tear that one out, unfortunately. But here's the full the mulberry tree. I pruned it so it's all kind of really high above the head. You could walk under it. So it's kind of small for now, will get huge. So got to stay on top of pruning that one. Over here we have a couple marigolds. There's another New Hanover, ground cherry, some party time Alternatea, Persian shields, that's an Aunt Molly ground cherry, and then some marigolds. These are French marigolds. They're taller, a little bigger. Here I just put this tree in. There used to be a peach tree here, but went the way of the dodo, unfortunately, and now we have a nectarine tree here. So we have a Suncoast nectarine. So very happy to have a nectarine tree now, which is kind of cool. Here we just planted this bare root Golden Delicious apple tree. It's a dwarf, so it should stay pretty small, so I'm okay with these trees. There's another Liberty apple dwarf tree there, so they should stay pretty small. This is one of the trees that the animals killed, so it was protected up until here over winter. The animals chewed it and killed it from there up, but we got some coming back, and luckily it's still above the graft point. If you can see that, the graft point's right here. There's a little nub where the graft point was. So we got shoots above it, so we're all set there. It's not going to be the rootstock fruit, it's going to be the Liberty apple fruit, which is nice. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Here's a new tree we just put in. There was a Methley plum tree here that died, so we replaced it with another Methley plum. So same tree here, different tree, but same style tree. So pretty cool. This one's actually a little bit bigger, looks a little bit healthier. It is going to be a full-size tree, so no dwarf or semi-dwarf root stock on that. So it's going to be a pretty big one. Here's another one of the trees that I ripped out. So here's the Methley plum. They killed it from here up, so they ate it from there. We're starting to get a little growth here, so I'm going to bring these to my mom's and hopefully they might have some life in them. Here's a Bing cherry tree that's actually doing really well. I just don't have a spot for it in my yard, so that's going to my mom's as well. And then this one is the Black Tartarian cherry tree, so they killed it from here up. Hopefully has some life in it left. And then here we have just some blueberry bushes, some mid plants, stuff like that. Here's a blackberry prime freedom blackberry, so it's thornless, and prima cane, so it has berries every single year on even the first year stalks. So that's pretty cool. We have a bunch of blueberries. So this is a St. Cloud blueberry. Here's some strawberries that my buddy Rob gave me. I'm not sure what kind they are. Here's another Freedom 48, or Freedom blackberry, not the 45 one. The Freedom 45 still has thorns, so the Freedom does not. And then here we have a Swiss chard that actually looks like it's going to flower, because I planted this last year. I thought it was dead, but it kept growing and growing and growing, so not dead. I've never even had or eaten Swiss chard. I planted this from seed just for fun to see what was going on, because it was actually rainbow, but I only got these cool white ones. I didn't get any of the orange or black ones, but it looks like it's going to flower, so I probably should have picked it and used it a little bit earlier. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do some Googling, see how to eat this. And some more blueberries. I think that's the Patriot blueberry. More strawberries. We do have a grape thrown in there. Some more blueberry. That's a Sweetheart blueberry. Got that from Stark Brothers this year. It's a little smaller than I would like, so it's in the pot. Maybe bring it in for the winter. This is, I believe, a Sunshine blueberry, so we're already getting some small tiny beginnings of a berry on that one. We have different kinds of strawberries now. The flowers turn to white, so we are into the Eversweet strawberries. And again, here we have another strawberry bush. This one's called the Silver Dollar strawberry, and again, we're getting starting to get berries on that guy. And then Eversweet strawberries mixed with Ozark Beauties coming up. Here we have another blueberry bush. Forget which kind that one is, sorry. And yeah, we start getting to the Ozark Beauty strawberries. Another Swiss chard that's starting to go to flower. So gotta figure out how to eat those. Little tiny pink lemonade blueberry tossed in there. And then there's another tiny blueberry tossed in here too. And then if we keep on coming, we have a new blueberry that I just put in. This one's a peach sorbet. This one's actually the farthest along, so we'll probably get to try that one first this year. So can't wait to try it. And again, we got some more grapes going up the fence here. Another small blueberry plant tucked in here. And then we have some more marigolds. Another sunshine blueberry. Oh yeah, we have some tribute strawberries, so they're a little bit taller. Probably hard to see on video, but the tributes start probably right about here where they start getting a little taller. Yeah, and those are the tribute strawberries, very good as well. Here we have a sunshine blueberry and then some lavender. The buds are just starting to come in and open on the lavender here. Karen's azalea, flowers are very pretty. Bringing in the pollinators, and then some more Persian shield, and we have the gay feather starting to pop up here. And here we have a peach tree that we just put in, the Red Haven peach that I put in that actually was killed, unfortunately, but that was the favorite fruit besides the raspberries, my favorite fruit tree that we're growing. So of course I had to get another peach tree, and we ended up getting a red Ruston red peach. And we got a little bit of oregano planted down here with it at its base. But yeah, I can't wait to get some fruit on this. This actually already looks like it has some small fruit developing, so that is super cool. So I can't wait to actually maybe get some fruit off of this tree too. We cruise over here, we have some coleus and some bloodleaf that I still need to get planted. The deer are eating it in the front, and it was a little cold, so I'm trying to wait for some warmer weather. And then we have some spinach and some sugar snap peas that are growing up here. Behind me we have some radishes. So I've already harvested these 2 or 3 times now. So for June we already had quite a few radishes, which are delicious. So, these we switched to, there's this Polish variety, not even going to try to pronounce it, and Cherry Giant. So at first I was growing I think 5 to 6, maybe even 7 different kinds of radishes just to see what my favorite variety was and what all the different flavors were, but turned out the radishes all seemed to pretty much taste the same. So I just went with whatever the biggest, fastest growing ones were and just stuck with those 2 varieties. So here we have our mushroom bed. Laid this out at the beginning of this season. It's got some blue oyster. It's inoculated with some blue oyster spawn. It's the first time I ever tried mushrooms this year in all the beds, so hopefully we'll get some. Got some growing inside in buckets that we've already got a bunch of harvests from 3 or 4 times. They're so delicious. Here we have our currant. So we have a red and a golden currant, and here we have a Asian Chijuro pear that also went in at just the beginning of this year as a bare root tree. It's already doing fantastic. Behind it we have a golden delicious apple tree. Again, the animals got to it right there, so it's a lot. It's doing good though. It's coming back, so that is pretty cool. And then here we have some flowers, some lilies, some lamb's ear, some foxglove. We're starting to get some flowers on the foxglove. I can't wait to see how beautiful they are. Some purple print zinnia. The coleus has gotten eaten by something, but it's starting to come back. And then yeah, lots of foxglove, purple prints, zinnia, marigolds, and coleus all along this whole bed. And yeah, this is also inoculated with some wine cap mushroom spawn. So hopefully we'll get some wine cap mushrooms. We have a Freedom 48 blackberry at the end here. So this one does have thorns, but it's a prima cane and we'll put fruit on every year. Over here we have some phlox, some zinnia, some first year foxgloves, so they won't get much growth until next year. And then we have our rhododendron with super pretty flowers. New tree that just went in. This one I'm actually probably the happiest about because this is a cherry tree, but it's already pre-grafted with 5 different kinds of cherries. So it has the 518 cherry on it, the Montmorency cherry, so that's a really popular cherry actually, the Lapin cherry, the Rainier cherry, which is an awesome cherry that doesn't turn fully red, so the birds kind of leave it alone. And here's a Hudson cherry. So 5 different kinds of cherries on one tree. So that's why I was able to get rid of that Bing cherry, even though none of these are Bing. It'll be right at my mom's. And then once this gets an extra branch, I could go ahead and graft the Bing onto this tree as well. So I could have all my cherries on one tree versus taking up space in the yard. And that is it for the June update. Things by Roma out.